Welcome to my channel, the place where rare finds, hidden treasures, and amazing discoveries come to life. Today we are going to explore 4 interesting United States 5-cent coins that collectors often search for. The 1943 P. Jefferson nickel, the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel, the 1961 Jefferson nickel, and the 1962 Jefferson nickel. Each of these coins tells a different story about American history, metal changes, and collector value. So stay with me until the end to discover what makes them special. Let's begin with the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel. The 5 cents 1943 P. United States of America coin, commonly known as the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel, hold a unique and important place in American coin history because it was produced during one of the most challenging periods in world history, the Second World War. Before 1942, United States 5-cent coins were made primarily from a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Nickel was a critical strategic metal needed for military production, especially for armor plating and weapons manufacturing. Because of this, the U.S. Mint had to find an alternative metal mixture that would still allow coins to function properly in vending machines while preserving valuable war materials. As a result, in mid-1942, the Mint introduced a special wartime alloy consisting of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This special composition continued through 1945, and the 1943 P nickel is one of the most recognized examples of these famous war nickels. The obverse of the 1943 P Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and one of the nation's founding fathers. The design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose work won a national design competition in 1938, when the Jefferson Nickel series replaced the Buffalo nickel. Jefferson's portrait is shown in a dignified and classical style, with detailed hair, strong facial features, and a calm expression. The word liberty appears to the right of Jefferson's profile, followed by the year 1943. The motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed along the left edge of the coin. Because the coin was struck in Philadelphia, it carries a large P mint mark, which appears on the reverse side above Monticello. This was historically significant because prior to 1942, Philadelphia coins typically did not have a mint mark. Wartime nickels marked the first time the Philadelphia Mint used a large, visible mint mark to distinguish these special silver alloy coins from regular nickels. The reverse side of the coin features Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia state, which is presented in a symmetrical architectural design. The word Monticello is written above the building, while E pluribus unum appears across the top edge of coin. The denomination 5 cents is prominently displayed below Monticello, followed by the inscription United States of America. Directly above the image of Monticello is a large mint mark P, identifying the coin as being struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This oversized mint mark is one of the defining characteristics of wartime nickels and makes the 1943 P coin instantly recognizable to collectors. The introduction of the wartime composition was not only practical but also historically symbolic. By removing nickel from the coin's composition, the U.S. Mint contributed to the national war effort. The addition of silver, although unusual for a 5-cent coin, helped maintain the coin's electrical conductivity, ensuring that vending machines and payphones could still recognize it properly. The use of manganese also helped strengthen the coin and provided a distinctive grayish appearance compared to earlier copper-nickel nickels. Over time, many 1943 P nickels developed a darker tone or patina due to their unusual metal mixture, which makes them visually different from standard nickels. The total mintage of the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel was very high, with over 271 million coins produced. Because of this large production number, the coin is generally considered common in circulated condition. However, high-grade uncirculated examples, particularly those with strong strikes and full steps visible on the Monticello design, are highly sought after by collectors. Full steps refers to the clarity and sharpness of the steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse side. Coins with fully visible steps indicate a strong strike and careful preservation, which significantly increases their value in the collector market. During the years following World War II, Many wartime nickels were removed from circulation because people realized they contained silver. Although the silver content is relatively small compared to other silver coins, it still adds intrinsic value based on current precious metal prices. As a result, some individuals saved these coins, melted them for their metal content, or sold them to collectors. However, millions of 1943 P-nickel survived, and they remain widely available today. The coin's condition is the most important factor in determining its value. Heavily circulated coins with worn details are generally worth only a modest premium over their silver content. Coins in extremely fine or about uncirculated condition show much more detail and may command higher prices. Uncirculated coins with original mint luster and minimal contact marks are especially desirable. Certified examples graded by professional grading services, such as PCGS or NGC, can reach significantly higher values, particularly if they display full steps. High-grade specimens graded MS66 or above are rare and may sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on market demand and eye appeal. In addition to condition, collectors often look for varieties or errors. Some 1943 P-nickels exhibit minor die cracks, double dies, or other striking anomalies. While most of these are small and common, certain dramatic errors can attract strong interest. Coins with unusual toning patterns, especially rainbow or multicolored toning, are also prized by collectors who appreciate aesthetic beauty in addition to historical significance. The historical context surrounding the 1943 P-nickel makes it especially meaningful. During World War II, American citizens were encouraged to conserve resources and support the war effort in any way possible. The change in coin composition served as a daily reminder of the sacrifices being made on the home front. Millions of Americans carried these coins in their pockets while soldiers fought overseas, making them tangible pieces of wartime history. For many collectors, owning a 1943 P-nickel is not just about numismatics, but also about preserving a connection to a pivotal moment in world history. Another interesting aspect of the Wartime Nickel series is the introduction of the large mint mark above Monticello. This design feature allowed the government to easily identify and remove silver alloy nickels from circulation after the war if necessary. Although most were not withdrawn, the mint mark remains an iconic feature that distinguishes wartime nickels from all other Jefferson nickels. The 1943 P coin, in particular, is one of the most commonly encountered wartime nickels because of its high mintage and widespread circulation. Collectors often build complete sets of wartime nickels from 1942 through 1945, which include coins from the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The 1943 P coin is considered a key part of this set because it represents the peak of. Next is the 1944 P Jefferson nickel. The 5 cents 1944 P United States of America coin, widely known as the 1944 P Jefferson War nickel, is one of the most historically meaningful coins ever produced by the United States Mint because it was created during the height of World War II, a time when the nation was fully focused on supporting military operations and conserving essential resources. Before the war, standard Jefferson nickels were made from an alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, but nickel metal became extremely important for production of armor plating, military vehicles, and weapons. Because of this urgent wartime need, the United States government decided to change the composition of the 5-cent coin to preserve nickel supplies for military use. Beginning in late 1942 and continuing through 1945, the Mint produced special wartime nickels using a unique alloy consisting of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. The 1944 P coin is one of the most famous examples from this wartime series and is especially valued by collectors because it combines historical importance, precious metal content, and distinctive design features. The obverse of the 1944 P Jefferson nickel displays the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and a key figure in American history. The design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose work was selected through a national competition in 1938 when the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel. Jefferson's profile on the coin is calm and dignified, reflecting classical artistic influences and emphasizing the intellectual character of the president who authored the Declaration of Independence. On the left side of the portrait appears the motto, "In God We Trust," while on the right side is the word liberty, followed by the year 1944. The details in Jefferson's hair, eye, and coat provide collectors with important clues about the coin's condition, since where it typically appears first on the highest points of the design. The reverse of the coin features a detailed image of Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate in Virginia. The building is shown in a balanced architectural style with columns, a triangular pediment, and visible steps at the base. Above the image is the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. Directly beneath the building is the word Monticello, followed by the denomination 5 cents and the inscription United States of America. One of the most distinctive features of wartime nickels, including the 1944 P coin, is a large mint mark placed prominently above Monticello. The letter P indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This was historically significant because Philadelphia coins did not usually carry a mint mark before 1942, making the wartime nickels the first regular-issue U.S. coins to feature a prominent P mint mark. The special wartime alloy gave the coin a slightly different appearance compared to earlier and later nickels. Because of the silver content and manganese mixture, the coin often developed a darker gray or bluish tone over time. Some coins show attractive natural toning, including rainbow colors, which collectors find highly desirable. The inclusion of silver was not intended to increase the coin's intrinsic value, but rather to ensure that the new alloy had similar electrical properties to the original copper-nickel composition, so that vending machines and payphones would continue to accept the coins without problems. This demonstrates the careful planning and scientific testing carried out by the United States Mint during the war years. The mintage of the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel was very large, with more than 119 million coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Because of this high production number, the coin is relatively common in circulated grades and is widely available to collectors. However, high-grade uncirculated examples are much scarcer, especially those with strong strikes and clear details. One of the most important factors collectors look for is the presence of full steps on the reverse design. This term refers to the visibility and sharpness of the steps leading up to Monticello. Coins with fully defined steps are considered premium examples because they indicate a strong strike and minimal wear. Full steps coins can command significantly higher prices in the numismatic market. The historical context of the 1944 P nickel adds to its appeal. During 1944, Allied forces were making major advances in Europe and the Pacific, and American factories were operating at full capacity to produce military equipment. The change in coin composition was part of a nationwide effort to conserve resources and support the war effort. Ordinary citizens encountered these silver alloy nickels in everyday transactions, making them small but meaningful reminders of the sacrifices and unity required during wartime. Many people save these coins as souvenirs, knowing they contain silver and represented a unique period in American history. Condition plays a major role in determining the value of a 1944 P. Jefferson nickel. Coins that circulated heavily often show were on Jefferson's cheek and hair, as well as on the columns and steps of Monticello. Such coins typically have modest collector value, although the silver content ensures they are worth more than standard non-silver nickels. Coins in extremely fine or about uncirculated condition retain much of their original detail and are more valuable. Uncirculated coins with bright luster, minimal marks, and strong strikes are especially sought after. High-grade certified examples graded MS-66 or higher by professional grading services like PGS or NGC can be quite valuable, particularly when combined with the full steps designation. In addition to condition, collectors sometimes search for mint errors or die varieties. These may include double dies, repunched mint marks, die cracks, or off-center strikes. While most errors are minor, unusual, or dramatic examples can attract strong interest from specialized collectors. Coins with unique toning patterns or exceptional eye appeal are also prized, as they stand out visually from typical examples. Because wartime nickels were produced in enormous quantities under intense production pressure, variations in strike quality and die were relatively common, adding to the diversity of collectible pieces. After World War II ended, the United States Mint returned to the traditional copper-nickel composition for 5-cent coins beginning in 1946. However, the wartime nickels remained in circulation for many years, and some were eventually removed or melted due to their silver content. Despite this, millions of 1944 P nickels survived, ensuring that they remain accessible to both beginner and advanced collectors today. Their affordability makes them popular among new collectors, while high-grade or rare examples continue to attract experienced numismatists seeking exceptional pieces. The cultural and historical significance of the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel extends beyond its role as currency. It represents a period when the United States adapted rapidly to meet the challenges of global conflict, even modifying everyday items like coins to conserve vital materials. Each coin serves as a small historical artifact, reflecting the ingenuity and resilience of the American people during one of the most difficult periods in modern history. For collectors, holding a 1944 P nickel can feel like holding a tangible connection to the... Now, let's move to the 1961 Jefferson nickel. The 5-cent 1961 United States of America coin, commonly known as the 1961 Jefferson nickel, is a classic example from the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938 and continues today. Unlike the wartime nickels of the early 1940s that contained silver, the 1961 nickel returned to the traditional composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a durable alloy chosen for its resistance to wear and corrosion. The coin was produced during a period of economic growth and technological change in the United States, when everyday coinage played an essential role in commerce, vending machines, transportation, and daily transactions. Although it may appear ordinary at first glance, the 1961 nickel represents a stable and consistent era in American coin production and remains an important collectible for both beginner and advanced numismatists. The obverse of the 1961 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose work was selected through a national competition organized by the U.S. Mint in the late 1930s. Jefferson's image reflects a dignified and classical style, with smooth contours and well-balanced proportions. On the left side of the portrait appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" and the year 1961 are positioned to the right. The condition of Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline is often used by collectors to determine how much wear a coin has experienced over time. Coins that show strong detail in these areas are considered to be in better condition. The reverse of the coin displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia state, rendered in a symmetrical architectural design that emphasizes columns, steps, and balanced proportions. Above the building is a Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, reflecting the unity of the United States. Beneath the building appears the word Monticello, followed by the denomination 5 cents and the inscription United States of America. The mint mark, when present, is located to the right of Monticello. In 1961, Jefferson nickels were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Philadelphia coins typically carry no mint mark, while coins struck in Denver display a small D. The absence or presence of this mint mark helps collectors identify where the coin was produced. The mintage of the 1961 Jefferson nickel was very high because demand for coins increased significantly during the early 1960s. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 73 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck over 229 million examples. These large production numbers mean that the coin is relatively common in circulated condition. However, coins in exceptional uncirculated condition are more difficult to find because many were used extensively in daily commerce. During this period, coins were not commonly saved in large quantities by the general public, which makes well-preserved examples more desirable today. One of the most important factors influencing the collectability of a 1961 nickel is the quality of the strike. Some coins were struck using worn dies or under high production pressure, resulting in weak details on the reverse, especially on the steps leading up to Monticello. Collectors often look for coins with full steps, meaning that the steps are clearly defined and uninterrupted by marks or wear. Full steps examples are considered premium pieces and can command significantly higher prices than ordinary examples, especially in high mint state grades. The economic and historical context of 1961 adds an interesting dimension to the coin. This was the year John F. Kennedy was inaugurated as president, marking the beginning of a new political era in the United States. The early 1960s were characterized by rapid technological progress, the space race, and increasing global influence for the United States. Although the design of the Jefferson nickel remained unchanged, coins like the 1961 issue circulated widely during a time of optimism and transformation. For collectors, the coin serves as a small historical artifact representing the everyday life of Americans during this period. In terms of value, most circulated 1961 nickels are relatively affordable due to their high mintage and common availability. Coins that have been heavily worn typically carry only a small premium above face value, making them accessible to new collectors. Coins in extremely fine or about uncirculated condition are more valuable because they retain much of their original detail. Uncirculated coins with bright mint luster and minimal contact marks are particularly desirable. High-grade examples graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services, such as PGS or NGC, can command significantly higher prices, especially if they also display full steps. Varieties and errors also add interest to the 1961 Jefferson nickel. Some coins show double dies, die cracks, or repunch mint marks, although major varieties are relatively scarce. Minor errors such as off-center strikes or planchet defects can also occur and may increase a coin's value depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. Collectors who specialize in error coins often examine 1961 nickels closely for unusual features that set them apart from standard examples. Another factor that can influence desirability is toning. Over time, the copper-nickel alloy can develop natural colors ranging from golden hues to deep gray or even subtle blues and purples. While some collectors prefer bright, original surfaces, others appreciate unique toning patterns that enhance a coin's visual appeal. Coins that have been cleaned or polished often lose value because the process can damage the original surface and reduce collector interest. Proper storage in coin holders or albums helps preserve the natural finish and protects the coin from environmental damage. The 1961 Jefferson nickel also plays an important role in complete data and mint mark collections of the Jefferson series. Because it is relatively common, it is often one of the earlier coins acquired by new collectors working on a full set. At the same time, advanced collectors may seek out high-grade examples or rare varieties to complete specialized collections. Coin shows, online marketplaces, and numismatic auctions frequently offer 1961 nickels in a wide range of grades, making them accessible to collectors with different budgets and interests. During the early 1960s, the U.S. Mint faced increasing demand for coins due to population growth and expanding commercial activity. Production facilities worked at high capacity to supply sufficient coinage for everyday transactions. This high-volume production sometimes resulted in coins with minor imperfections or weak strikes, which is one reason why sharply struck high-grade examples are more valuable today. The 1961 nickel illustrates how the mint balanced efficiency with quality during a time of growing economic activity. From a cultural perspective, the 1961 Jefferson nickel is a reminder of a stable and prosperous period in American history. It circulated through grocery stores, vending machines, transportation systems, and countless everyday exchanges, quietly supporting the rhythm of daily life. Although it may lack the dramatic wartime story of earlier nickels, it represents a reliability. Finally, we have the 1962 Jefferson nickel. The 5-cent 1962 United States of America coin, commonly known as the 1962 Jefferson nickel, is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938 and remains one of the most familiar coins in American currency. By 1962, the design had already been in use for more than 2 decades, and the coin represented a period of stability in U.S. coinage following the experimental wartime compositions of the 1940s. The 1962 nickel was struck using the standard composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a durable alloy chosen for its resistance to corrosion and wear. This metal mixture allowed the coin to maintain its appearance through heavy circulation, making it practical for everyday transactions across the United States. During the early 1960s, the American economy was expanding, and coins such as the 1962 Jefferson nickel played a vital role in daily commerce, from grocery stores to transportation systems and vending machines. The obverse of the 1962 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and one of the nation's most influential founding fathers. The design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag after he won a national competition organized by the U.S. Mint in 1938. Jefferson's portrait is depicted in a classical style with smooth contours and balanced proportions. The motto, "In God We Trust," appears along the left edge of the coin, while the word liberty and the date 1962 appear to the right of Jefferson's profile. Collectors often examine the sharpness of Jefferson's hair, cheekbone, and eye area to evaluate the coin's level of wear. Coins that retain crisp detail in these areas are generally considered to be in better condition. The reverse of the coin displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia, shown in a symmetrical architectural design with visible columns and a clear roofline. Above the building is a Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many one, symbolizing the unity of the United States. The name Monticello is placed directly beneath the building, followed by the denomination 5 cents and the inscription United States of America. The mint mark, when present, is located on the right side of Monticello. In 1962, the Jefferson nickel was produced at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins struck in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while those from Denver display a small D. The presence or absence of this mint mark helps collectors identify the origin of each coin. Production numbers for the 1962 Jefferson nickel were very high because the United States experienced increased demand for coinage during the early 1960s. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 97 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck more than 280 million examples. Because of these large mintages, the coin is relatively common in circulated condition. Many examples were heavily used in everyday transactions, which means that coins in worn condition are easy to find. However, well-preserved uncirculated examples are less common and therefore more desirable among collectors. Coins that have retained their original mint luster and sharp details are especially valued. One of the most important characteristics collectors look for in a 1962 Jefferson nickel is the quality of the strike. During this period, the mint produced coins at high speed to meet growing economic needs, and some coins show weak details, particularly on the steps leading up to Monticello. Collectors often seek coins with full steps, meaning the steps are clearly defined and uninterrupted. Full steps examples indicate a strong strike and careful preservation, making them more valuable and desirable, particularly in higher mint state grades. The historical context of 1962 adds further interest to the coin. This was a significant year during the Cold War era, marked by events such as the Cuban Missile Crisis, which brought the United States and the Soviet Union close to nuclear confrontation. At the same time, the nation was experiencing cultural change, technological advancement, and economic growth. Although the design of the Jefferson nickel remained unchanged, coins from this year circulated widely during an important period in modern history. For collectors, the 1962 nickel represents a tangible connection to the everyday life of Americans during a time of both tension and progress. In terms of value, most circulated 1962 nickels are affordable and widely available due to their high mintage and long period of circulation. Coins in heavily worn condition generally carry only a small premium above face value. However, coins in higher grades, such as extremely fine or about uncirculated, are more valuable because they retain more original detail. Uncirculated coins with bright surfaces, strong luster, and minimal marks are particularly sought after. High-grade specimens graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services, such as PGS or NGC, can achieve significantly higher prices, especially if they also possess the full steps designation. Varieties and mint errors can also add interest and value to the 1962 Jefferson nickel. While major varieties are not common, collectors sometimes find double dies, die cracks, or minor planchet defects. Off-center strikes and other unusual minting errors may also occur, though they are relatively rare. Coins with distinctive natural toning patterns, including golden or bluish hues, may attract additional attention from collectors who appreciate unique visual appeal. It is important for collectors to avoid cleaning coins, as this can damage the original surface and significantly reduce collector value. The 1962 Jefferson nickel is also important for those building complete Jefferson nickel collections covering the years from 1938 to the present. Because the coin is relatively easy to obtain, it is often one of the earlier additions to a collector's set. Advanced collectors may focus on acquiring high-grade examples or coins with special designations such as full steps. Coin shows, auctions, and online marketplaces frequently offer examples in a wide range of conditions, making the coin accessible to collectors with different budgets. From a technical standpoint, the coin measures approximately 21.2 millimeters in diameter and weighs 5 grams. The edge is plain rather than reeded, and the coin's thickness and durable alloy allow it to withstand extensive use in circulation. The combination of copper and nickel gives the coin a silvery appearance that can develop subtle toning over time depending on storage conditions and environmental exposure. Proper storage in coin holders or albums helps preserve the coin's original condition and prevents damage from moisture or air pollutants. Coins like the 1962 nickel during childhood purchases, making it a nostalgic piece for those who lived during that era. In conclusion, each of these 5-cent coins represents a unique part of American coinage history. The 1943 P and 1944 P wartime nickels stand out because of their silver content and World War II connection, while the 1961 and 1962 nickels represent the return to standard composition and the everyday coins used by millions of Americans. Whether you are a beginner collector or an experienced numismatist, these coins offer a fascinating look into the history and evolution of the Jefferson Nickel series. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more detailed U.S. coin history and value guides. See you in the next video.